All right. So what we're going to do here is take a look at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing about Bitcoin that I understand is, like, it's a digital currency. It functions off a blockchain, and it's very popular today. So let's take a look at what we can do about it.
Okay, great.
All right, to give me a kind of an idea of what I have set up, I have several accounts. The first account you need to set up is called Coinbase.
Right.
So let's take a look at Coinbase.
And is this a free service or?
Yeah, so anyone can sign up to Coinbase. It's mostly a digital exchange. They have a thing called GDAX, which is how they buy and sell coins. And so currently we're looking at Coinbase, which has Bitcoins selling at $4,355 at the moment, which means that's the current market price. Well, that's the going rate. It's a little bit down for the month, but it's doing pretty well. So this is almost at the end of September 2017, and Bitcoin's has had a huge run up since the beginning of the year. Since January, Bitcoin's almost been up, I'd say, from $900 to $4,000, almost 400% return.
Wow.
Yeah. So what you can do at Coinbase is you set up an account, and you give an email referral, and both parties get $10 worth of free Bitcoin for the first $100 that you transact. So if one guy buys $100 worth of Bitcoin, both of you get $10 extra, which is a good incentive to start. My Bitcoin account, you can see, has just about, my balances are currently empty, but my latest transactions are, I just sold 1.9 Bitcoin, or about $8,000 worth of Bitcoin in last month, August 27th. Okay. And I'll go through the process of how we did that. So we'll first start at Coinbase. Let's now go off to another site called Poloniex. Poloniex for those that need to see it.
Right. Okay, so Coinbase, is that kind of like your main hub? That's the place you go?
So that's where you can sell Bitcoin to get cash into your bank account directly.
Okay.
So the way that works is you deposit Bitcoin there through a Bitcoin ID, and you enter a sell order into GDAX. GDAX sells the Bitcoins online to the exchange. You don't have to be a part of it. Okay. And it gives you the money into your bank account within 5 days, but usually within the next business day.
And so Coinbase, you would say there's probably other websites that probably...
Coinbase is the site to go to. So if you have larger transactions, this is the place to be at, because it's where the majority of people can link directly to their bank accounts. Other sites don't give you that feature.
I see.
You can trade to other currencies like through Poloniex, but only through Coinbase do you get the money straight into your bank account. It's one of the best.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Alright, so Poloniex, right? So
yep, Poloniex is the next one. It's an exchange that's very sophisticated in that it allows you to have the balance deposit, the type of currencies you have, and then the type of alternate currencies you can purchase. There's over 20 to 30 different currencies trading towards Bitcoin, and then it also trades United States Tether, which is a currency that links to the US dollar. So if you ever feel that Bitcoin is going to go down, you can jump into US Tether, which is an altcoin. Okay. But like any altcoin, you can move back to Bitcoin freely. And the Bitcoin transaction rate I mentioned through Coinbase, it's $4,357. Mm-hmm. Here on Poloniex, it's $4,385. So you can tell that there's a slight $30 difference. And that's because you trade into US Tether, which is an alternate coin. Okay. It's not US currency, but it pegs to the dollar. Meaning that every Tether is equal to $1 in the bank that they have at Poloniex.
Wow. Great. And this is a free to set up account as
Yep,
well?
you set up the account. You have to go through a setup process. I'll just go to my to my authentication screen,
Sure.
and when I pull that up, here it is in profiles. There's 3 levels of verification. So if you just open an account today and provide your email and user ID, you can withdraw up to $2,000 worth of Bitcoin and make $2,000 worth of transactions. But if you provide more information like your address verification, you get into the second level and you can do up to $7,000 worth of transactions. And the third level, you provide your personal information through your photo ID, and you get up to $25,000 per day worth of transactions you can make.
Wow.
Meaning you can move up to $25,000 off and onto Bitcoin.
And I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people are concerned about their own privacy and whether this site's going to be
So
using their
that's what I
personal
just want to
information.
talk about. There's a 2-factor authentication setup where you set up your key code and your password, and you set it up on your cell phone through Google. It's called Google Pass codes.
Okay.
What you do is you get the authenticator and you can use it straight off your cell phone, meaning that you enter the 8-digit code or 6-digit code that's required, and you can access your account, and that provides you a level of safety and security. Currently, my balance in terms of US dollars is around $12,445, or about 2.85 Bitcoin online. And right now I have it stored in Clams.
Okay.
And so one of the key features of why I'm in Clams right now is through Polynox, you can go to the lending tab. And in lending, I'm about to show you, you can take your amount offered. So I have 3.86 clams worth of offering, which is about $40.
Mm-hmm.
You enter the rate you want. Right now, the going lowest market rate is 0.2% interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
You click on the interest rate, you can reduce it to 0.2, so I'll be the lowest bidder. I'll set it for a 60-day loan, and I will offer it. Now you can see that it moves off into the My Loans category, but if you don't have enough coins, like for instance, if you only have 3 or 4 coins, it gives you a minimum. Right now the minimum is 10 clams to do a transaction, which is about $80 to $90.
Okay.
So
this is where you set your rates and what
exactly.
you want to expect to get back.
Yes. And these are my active loans. I have 20 active loans on Bitcoin, all ranging from 0.25% lending rate all the way down to 0.15 daily rate, which annualizes to about 60% to 120%, depending on how long these rates go. My oldest loan out, which I opened up 4 days ago, has 4.4 clams worth of return on a investment of 167 clams, and its rate is 0.56, or almost 0.5% per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure that a lot of the viewers would like to know. Is there like an art to this? Like in terms of just like knowing what percentage or what rate you should be.
Very good question. So, as you get more sophisticated in investing, what you can do is go into a bot. I have this bot called. It was originally called Polynox Lending Bot.
Mm-hmm. And these guys are just like
they're a second site vendor.
Some sort of coders or
So what
people that create
Polynox Lending Bot did was, it provided a. I'm pulling it up. This is the lending bot. Mm-hmm. You can activate and deactivate it. You provide a key code into Polynox to use, and it manages the rate. So I set the minimum rate to 0.2, and I set the duration to 60 days. That's why I have my 15 loans out. The bot automates all these loans and puts them out for you. And so when a loan expires and I get the clams back, it can be resent to more loans.
You're saying like if I wanted to start I guess a Bitcoin operation here, I would get an initial I guess loan or about maybe like $5,000 to $10,000 in cash. Put it all in Coinbase, and then from there you could use the other utility websites like the Poloniex,
Yes, the bot,
and
the
Poloniex
bot,
bots in
and
order to
Poloniex,
exchange
yep.
and be able to lend.
Precisely. So the way it works is you first take your money to Coinbase, you link your bank account. Coinbase allows you to buy Bitcoin, you transfer it over to Poloniex, and in Poloniex you can buy alternate coins based on which coin is lending the best. And each coin has its own lending rate. Right now, Bitcoin's lending rate is not too great. It's 0.015%. So I transferred to Clams just the other day, and its minimum rate right now is 0.19, or almost approaching 0.5% interest per day.
I'm sure. Like, I mean, I would really like to know whether do these rates change so much that I have to monitor this on a, say, twice, 3 times a day, a weekly thing? Could I let it just set up shop and not really?
Really, once the bot is going, it automates the process. It takes care of all the loans for you. All you do is look at your balances on a daily basis, and you can see how much money's in the bank, essentially, and you can move up to, if you get to level 3 verification, $25,000 back to Coinbase and put that right into your bank account.
Wow. And is the bot, are the Poloniex bots also free to use?
So
or
Poloniex has a credit. You add a small amount of Bitcoin credit into it. Right now I have 0.19 Bitcoin, or about roughly a little bit less than $1,000 worth of credit in Poloniex bot.
And how much do they usually?
And they take a 10% amount.
Okay.
So 10% of the return on every transaction is considered a server fee that the bot collects on its own and keeps the process active. Really, it's perfectly well worth it to have a bot. You can manually put out all these loans, but the problem is once the loan expires, you may be asleep, you don't know what time it is, so the money will just be sitting there not making you more money.
I see.
So the bot really speeds it up.
Right.
Yep. So let's move on to another concept called Bitcoin mining. So there's a place called Genesis Mining. Let me pull it up. I'll log in. Let me pull the information up. I'll hit my authenticator and sign in. Right now I have 345 terahashes worth of Bitcoin mining and 200 megahashes worth of Ethereum mining. That equates to roughly 0.07 Bitcoin a day, or about $260 to $400 a day, depending on how much the value of Bitcoin is on that day.
The rate.
And I have it linked so that all the funds go directly to Poloniex, and on that day I either buy clams because that's the going currency that has high interest.
Right.
I sell Bitcoin into clams, and I decide to lend it out and get my interest rate.
Okay, so you decided on clams because that's
the going rate. So each currency fluctuates in interest rate. Mm-hmm. At some points, Bitcoin can be as high as 1% daily rate of return, but since it fluctuates, you pick a coin and you can purchase it and be in that currency while you're making a rate of return.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can see my earnings chart. Since the beginning of this month, I've made $8,333 worth of Bitcoin just in this month. I started my mining contract. If you go over to my orders, my first contract I bought.
So wait, it's $8,000 a month. Is that taking into account like the fluctuations in Bitcoin price?
Yes, it does. So it gives you a price value. The first contract I opened up was May 21st, and I paid 1 Bitcoin, and I got 15 terahashes worth of mining. And I've purchased incrementally over time about 10 contracts. My biggest contract was 100 actual terahashes for 4.64 Bitcoin.
So to put that in perspective, what is a terahash? So that's...
Okay, let's get into the concept of terahash.
That sounds like a lot.
It's a lot of processing.
Power.
Your computer, your base CPU, they sell processors at 5 gigabits processors.
Yes.
to 7 gigabit processors, depending on what kind of Intel product or AMD product you get. Now, there's a special thing called a SHA-256 computer that mines only Bitcoins. And its processing rates have gotten fast to the point where one SHA computer can do 15 terahashes worth of processing.
Wow, that's like 1,000.
Yep, 1,000 gigabytes.
1,000
So
gigabytes. That's
each processor in your
15,
regular
yeah.
computer is 5 gigabits. So
Right.
20 processors in your computer would be that ASIC miner.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And when I buy through Genesis, I get, let's see, I purchased about 10 contracts and I have 345 terahashes, or about 25 of these ASIC processors in cloud mining.
Wow. But I see on your dashboard it says there's some other types of coins that you can
Right.
actually...
So you can buy Litecoin mining, Dash Coin mining, Monero, Zcash, and Ethereum. And Genesis has a buying hash power section where you can get hashing power for, currently it's Zcash, Ethereum, and Monero.
Mm-hmm.
And you can purchase into these contracts and you put in the amount of dollars you want to spend. You can select here the credit card or Bitcoin.
Right.
And I usually pay with Bitcoin since I have a few.
Mm-hmm.
I hit continue. And you enter my promo code. Let me pull that up for you guys. In my accounts and under the affiliates tab, my promo code is T capital Z E R M K. That's T capital Z E R M K. And that allows you to give an affiliate discount, so you get 3% off your transaction. So if I go back to buying hashing power and I buy $100, or here in this case, let's say I buy $450 worth of Zcash mining, I want to pay with Bitcoin, I hit continue. It tells me it's 0.106 Bitcoin. If I enter that promo code, it'll take 3% off the subscription for your account and give me about 3% of mining hashing power for my account.
Wow.
And by doing that, we both benefit through the mining process.
Sure. So you guys hear that? It's T capital Z.
Let me go back to my affiliates. And I'll include this link in the YouTube video so everyone can get a good look at it. It's T capital Z E R M K, and the affiliates link will give you the 3% discount.
Sweet.
Alright, I think that concludes most of everything. Now let's just generally talk about Bitcoin, kind of educate on what is Bitcoin.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so it's digital currency that allows you to buy and sell other currencies through Polynox, and it also allows you to buy real purchases. Like I went through Overstock.com and was able to buy a nice small watch for my wife. She wanted a small gift, and I paid in about 0.015 Bitcoin, or $40 for that watch. And I put in the transaction code and I did the withdrawal. What you need is the address and the amount, and there's a small transaction fee of 0.0001, or about 25 cents.
25 cents, okay.
So it's a very affordable transaction fee, and the site Overstock gives you 30 minutes to get the Bitcoin over to them, and once it recognizes it, it gives you a receipt saying that they've received Bitcoin.
Okay. I mean, so I see that there's a ton of different coins out there.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, you can mine up to 6 coins through Genesis, but on the exchange there's quite a few more coins. So the big mining coins are Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Ethereum, Zcash, and Monero. But what you can do is go onto the exchange and transact and get your Ethereum into Ripple if you want, into Bitcoin Cash. And I can do a quick discussion of Bitcoin Cash. What happened was Bitcoin had a hard fork where on the blockchain half the miners decided to say that they wanted to support a new coin, and what happens is if the miners